Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start about the figures of speech. Why figures of speech is important. So now we are talking about the learning objective of figure of speech. So now we are just talking about the objective. The students will be able to identify figures of speech, metaphors, simile, personifications, metronymy, synchrony, oxymoron, hyperbole, thoughts, puns, irony, imagery, stuff. Give the student example of each of the devices during the lectures. Divide the class into pairs. Now we are just talking and we are discussing about some figure of speech. So these are figure of speech. So with the help of figure of speech, we can compare many sentences and we can compare many thoughts in English literature. So simile and personification and these all speech figure of speech are very important. So we can give the students examples of each of the devices. So during the lecture, divide the class into pairs. So now in outcomes, we will discuss about the explain the difference between figurative and literal language, identify and categorize examples of figurative language from poetry and prose, create original metaphors and similes. So, with the help of figure of speech, we can get many examples, we can characterize many things, we can find out different examples and different comparison. So this is very important in language, how to find out correct and very important comparison, very important ideas, and are comparing between sentences, we can get it with the help of figure of speech. So now a figure of speech is a departure from the ordinary form of expression or the ordinary codes of ideas in order to produce a greater effect. So this is, now what is a figure of speech? So we are just because today's lecture is figure of speech. So first of all, we need to understand about the speech. So what is a figure of speech? A figure of speech is a figurative language in the form of a single word or phrase. It can be a special repetition, arrangement, or omission of words with literal meaning or a phrase with a specialized meaning not based on the literal meaning of the words. This is, very important figurative of language and figurative of form of a single word or a phrase, single word of a phrase, and it can be special, repetition of sentences, repetition of and we are arranging many sentences in figure of speech and omission of words with literal meaning or a phrase with a specialized meaning not based on the literal meaning of the words. Now what a figure of speech is essentially a word or phrase used in a non-literal sense for historical or vivid effect in speech. They are they are just plainly defined as saying one thing in terms of something else. So now we are just planning and we are just defining our sentence, our term in different in different form. So they are plainly defined as saying one thing in terms of something else. So what does that mean? What it is simple actually. This is what we are defining and correcting. We are just saying something on we are saying something about the about the speech, and we are differently explaining and differently comparing our sentences. So in literal mean taking words in their usual or most basic sense without metaphor or exaggeration. So the basic the basic you know um, the basic form of literally keep taking words in their usual most basic sense without metaphor or exaggeration. Rhetorical, the art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing. So what we are just taking, we are just using rhetoric question, rhetoric, answer, rhetorical effect in, speech. So the art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing, taking words in their usual or most basic sense without metaphor or exaggeration. Now, whenever you say something but you don't mean it literally, you are using a figure of speech. And let's say you are about to head out to the store and your mother says you better take a jacket. It's a raining cat and dog out there. Does your mom literally mean animals are falling from the sky? No. What, we are just trying to, something, more expressive, something more interesting, something more, we are just using something different. This is, what art, this is the art of a speech. Whenever you say something but you don't mean it literally, this is what, whatever we want to convey, whatever we want to say, it is, it is does not mean it literally, but we are just using something. Whenever you say something but you don't mean it literally, you are using a figure of speech. Let's say you are about to head out to the store and your mother says you better take a jacket, it's a raining cats and dog out there. We are just making our sentence, making our feel, making, we are just making something more better. So what is this? We are just making something better and more impressive and more, expressive things we are just conveying here. So does your mom literally mean animals? No. So just we are just conveying and just comparing our sentence in different to mean. Does your mom literally mean animals are falling from the sky? Now, there are types, types of figures of speech, those based on constructions, climax, anticlimax. This is the most important part in English literature, climax, anticlimax, and, following. And, those based on resembles, simile, we are just resembling our sentences, simile as metaphor, personification, apostrophe. Those based on assonance, synonyms, knock, and those based on contrast, antithesis, epicum. These are, types, and there are lots of types in English literature. We can say there are different types of figure of speech and different role of, speech. With the help of the speech, we can compare many sentences and resemblance. Also, we can say in our sentence, if we talk about simile, in simile we will use so as like, but in metaphor we are just comparing our sentence, but we are not using so as like. This is what simile is there. We can find out easily from our sentence. Simile is there. So as like we are using, but in metaphor we will say we can identify comparison is there, but so as like we are not using. Now, simile, in a simile, a comparison, in a simile, we are talking about the, we are talking about the, comparison, because we are talking about simile. Simile means, we are just comparing. So in a simile, a comparison is made between two objects. In a simile, if we talk about the, if we talk about this speech, if we talk about this figure of speech, we can simply identify, we can simply compare, we can simply understand, between two objects. In a simile, a comparison is made between two objects of different kinds which have, however, one point in common. So first of all, we need to understand and we need to focus about the common, one point in common in simile. The simile is usually introduced by words as like, so, or as like. So we can just find out and we can just understand and we can compare. Where, we can compare so as like we will use in simile. So as the heart then after the water brooks, so panting my soul after the oh God. So these are some examples. So is a figure of speech here. So if we are comparing in a simile, if a comparison is made between two objects of different kinds which have, however, one point in common. So this is called, simile. The simile is usually introduced with words as, so, as, like. So my dog is as smelly as dirty socks. So now we can say, now we can compare my dog. So my dog is as as and as dirty sock. So as or as is just like we can find out, we are comparing, and we are taking one common point here, as. So as is our simply this pizza is as cold as.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start about the models. So, why models are important? Models like will and shall and could, might, and some models are here. So, primary models you can say that is MR, was, were, do, does, did, has, have, had, and secondary models are 13 models we have. So we can use primary auxiliaries as main verb. So but we can use secondary models only as helping verb: can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will, would, and ought, and need, dare, and used to, ability, capacity, and capability. So here we will discuss about some ability, present ability, and past ability. So we can say that can is our present ability, and past is our past ability is our could. So she's a very trained singer. She can sing very well. This is, we can say that this is a present ability, capacity, capability, and we can say ability. So we can simply say that she is a very trained singer. She can sing very well. So he is very clever. He can solve this problem easily. So he could run very fast when he was young. This is what past capacity is good. He could run very fast when he was young. So he could do it at this time. Necessity and compulsion is like when we talk about the compulsion and necessity is called must. Positive in must and negative need not or needn't. So this is what. So now model auxiliary, model auxiliaries, they are added to the main verb to express shades of time and shades of mood. So they do not change their form. First of all, we must understand they never change their form. So can or cannot. So pretend you are in an interview. The interview asks the interviewee if he has the ability to do the job. So can or cannot. To present ability, I can study 3 chapters in an hour. This is my capability, ability. So I can study 3 chapters in an hour. So this is what can or cannot. So present ability means possibility. I can go there after midnight. This is called present ability. I can go there after midnight. Present ability, possibility, permission, Can I go there with my friends? This is called permission. So might or may, pretend one or you is the manager and one is the journalist. The journalist is trying to schedule an interview with the famous rock star managed by this manager. So might means less possibility. Possibility she might be late again today. May possibility he may get promoted next year. Possibility means permission. May I use the restroom? Should pretend one of you is broken as other one is the best friend. The second one will tell the best friend her problems, and the best friend will tell her what she should do to solve them. Should obligation, you should not throw away trash on the streets. So we can say that we must eat to live, we must work to earn money. Today is a holiday, so you need not go to work. It is free, you need not pay anything for it. Inferences deduction means positive must, negative means cannot. The lights are on, someone must be inside. You have not eaten anything since morning. You must be hungry now. You have just had lunch. You cannot be hungry. She looks very young. She cannot be your grandmother. So purpose means present me can and might could purpose close something, so that in order that is uh, I read books so that I may improve my English, so that I work hard so that I may succeed. He went out so that he might play with his friends. And possibility, theoretical possibility can, factual possibility may, and remote possibility might. So theoretical possibility can and factual means we and but may, and remote might. So line can live up to 20 years. English can be learned in 6 months. Earthquakes can cause a lot of damage. Accident can happen only anytime. So we may go to Calcutta next month. We may invite us to the party. It may rain in the afternoon. He may get a good job next month. We may leave for our village in the morning tomorrow. It seems impossible. It might happen. There are no clouds. It might rain. And remote possibility might. He has not studied at all. He might pass this year. So legal, must, and moral, should, ought, and must is a strong, possibility. So necessity, you must not skip your meals, and in escapable of conclusion that was a strong storm, lives must have been lost. Will pretend you two are best friends, and one of you is going on a trip to Boracay and Kingdom and the video. Will future she will go to Canada next year. Future, willingness, Mark will enlist in the army because the Ibis took his family. So, polite request or refusal, will you buy me a new shirt? Pretend one of you is an old man and the other is a young man. The young man will ask the old man for an interview. Using could, he will ask the old man the things that he could do before and what he could do in the future. So past ability means could play basketball before, and possibility now could cook us lunch tomorrow. And past ability means permission, could you please and keep silent. So have to pretend one of you is a mother and the other one is the babysitter or the housekeeper. The mother is leaving the house for 3 days as a mother. Tell the babysitter, housekeeper the things she has to do while you are away. Have to means necessity. You have to pay 1,000 for the party. So we can simply say that, a purpose and, line can live up to 20 years. English can be learnt in 6 months. Earthquakes can cause a lot of damage. Accident can happen at any time. We may go to Calcutta next month. We may invite us to the party. It may rain in the afternoon. He may get a job next month. We may leave for our village in the morning tomorrow. It seems impossible. It might happen. There are no clouds. It might rain. He has not studied at all. He might pass this year. So must, should, and ought, and must, and strong possibility. So now, people must obey the law. You must pay income tax without fail. You must act according to the rules. This is a legal duty. You have to do it. So used to means past. I used to teach children how to play the piano. We going to future. She is going to buy him a new car. So had better desirability. You had better be honest with her. So next is had would rather preference. I would rather stay at home and study. Had you rather stay? So ought to obligation. You ought to forgive those who have hurt you. So preference eat in a Japanese restaurant had better, more and better. So boys necessity respect girls. This is a necessity. You have to do it. And permission, you may go. You permission better have dinner with me. So my family bar, go out every weekend used to. That is called past habit. Present habitage and task effectively, so can we can use here. So we have discussed some, I am just going to discuss some examples. So so we can simply say that you should help your brother, and we should always speak the truth. Children, children to respect their children, and one must keep one's promise, request, interrogative sentence, subject second person, and can less polite for informal, more polite formal, would very polite formal. Can you give me one more chance? And could you help me, please? Would you tell me? And could you do it for me? And would you do me a favor? And an offer, offering help, interrogative and subject, and can less polite me more polite, and can less polite me more polite. Can you help me? Can I help you? And can I uh, you know open the door for you? How may I help you? And what can I do for you? And can I do something for you? Offering something to eat or drink, would like that? Would you have lunch with us? Would you like to have some tea? And what would you like to have? Advice, suggestion, should, advice, must, strong advice. You should study more if you want good marks. You must see a doctor at once. It is raining hard and you should come inside. This book is very interesting. You must read this. You should go to him. He needs your help, and you must go to him immediately. He needs your help. Permission, asking for permission, interrogatives and to subject first person, can less formal, could more formal, may very formal. These are very important. That charger, need charger. So granting like permission can less formal. So this thing we must understand. So granting, refusing, and can less formal, may very formal. So you can use this phone. Students can ask questions when the lecture is over. You cannot travel abroad unless you have a valid passport. Some often uses of models and preference would plus rather I would rather go back than wait and here. So he would rather pay the fine than rise. We would go on foot than hire a taxi. So he promised that he would tell me the truth. He said that he would show me the painting. I know that he would not accept this offer. She told us that he would come back. I know that he would not give money back. I wish plus subject and would. I wish he would understand. I wish he would forgive me. I wish I could buy this car. I wish I could speak English like, and I wish I could fly with verbs like love and prefer. I would like to meet him. I would love to do it. He would prefer to do to be alone. Can and could hear, see, understand, notice, smell, recognize, and non-continuous verbs. I could not hear what he said. I can see very clearly. I could not see her face because it was completely dark. I can understand what it means. I could not recognize him that day. Should use with the test, like you must work hard. If less you should fail. Should use with less you fear of less you must give it to her lest she should get angry. Be quite less you should be late for the class. So this is this is what like used to past habits and situation, and he used to smoke a lot. Now he does not. He used to have a bike. Now he has a car. He used to be very shy when he was young. Young and Pato used to be very cheap those days. These are past habits we have discussed over here. So, from this PPT, we have discussed what we have discussed. We have discussed some model auxiliaries. We have discussed. So they are first of all we will use they are added to the main verbs to express shades of time and mood. So they do not change their form. So can or cannot we have discussed can like a present possibility, and so we can do this thing, we can not do that thing. So we pretend you are in an interview. So these are things. So can show present ability, capacity, and capability. I can study 3 chapters in an hour. So present ability means possibility. I can go there after midnight. So can or cannot present ability, possibility, permission. Can I go there with my friends? So might or may is also pretend one of you is the manager and one is the journalist. The journalist is trying to schedule an interview with a famous rock star managed by the manager. So might also we have discussed less possibility. So may possibility he may get promoted next year. So those things we have discussed over here. So must, user must, and will. Good. And those things we have discussed all. Now I'm sharing second part of models. Just so we can say that Now let's see how models is used in our lives and why it is used. So, definition, structure, how to use it, how to use, and definition: a modal verb is a type of auxiliary verb that is used to indicate modality, that is like likelihood, ability, and permission and possibility. Two of my friends can play guitar. That is a ability. This is what is we are discussing. Two of my friends can play guitar. This is called ability. So list of modals verbs we can see over here: can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, ought to, and must. So subject modal verb, main verb, you know, we meant. So I must, we must, they must, you must, and he must, she must, it must. We can also say I can, we can, they can, you can, he can, she can, and it can. So they must, they can, they should, they may, they will. You must, you can, you should, you may, you will. So he must, she must, can, should, may, and will. It must, it can, it should, it may, and it will. So we can say that I must go to sleep. We must go to sleep, and they can drink some water, and may eat some food, and will do some exercise. Use the basic form or infinitive of the main verbs after the modal verbs. So then, after modal verbs, a modal verbs do not add s or es to the third person singular. So this is called, we cannot say he can. We cannot use s or es in modal verbs. So modal verbs do not add s or es to the third third person singular. The next is simple. I could work, he could work, it could work, they could work. Perfect, I could have worked, he could have worked, it could have worked, they could have worked. I could be working, he could be working, it could be, working, they could be working. In perfect continuous, I could have been working, he could have been working, it could have been working, they could have been working. So, modal verbs do not need auxiliaries to form negative and questions. She should stay, and she shouldn't stay, and why shouldn't she stay? So modal verbs don't have infinitive or ing forms. So how to use? So use ability, possibility, and impossibility, asking for permission, request, so they can control their own work. We can't fix it. Can I bring here? Can you help me? So for could, we will use permission, request, and possibility, and future ability. Could I borrow your dictionary? Could you say it again more slowly? I think we could have another tea. I wish, like we could meet me next week. He gave up his old job so he could work for. So may use, permission, and you can say possibility. May I have another cup of coffee? I may finish my homework. So, so might use possibility, and we had better, phone tomorrow. They might be eating their dinner now. So, ought to use, saying what's right and correct. She ought to finish by next week, and offer suggestion and permission. Shall I help you with your luggage? Shall we say, shall I do? that or will you, and usage should, and saying what's right or correct, possibility we should solve this problem, fees and should decrease next year. Will, I can't see any, taxes, so I will walk, and offer, I will do that for you. If you like, I will come back on Monday. So, decision, offer, promise. So we can say that, would you mind if I brought a friend with me, and would you mind waiting a moment, and would you like to play basketball and fact this Friday. So these are, so this is the, thanks, we have learned lot of things from this PPT. So we can also practice on that by why modern auxiliaries is important in English grammar. So these are very, important part in English models and auxiliary verbs and forms. So we are just having quick revision on that. So we can say in this PPT we have discussed, we have learned some, forms, auxiliaries models. So, when I am gone, when I'm gone, you will need love to light the shadows on your face. So, will, well, I hope there's someone out there who can bring me back to you. If a great wave shall fall, it's, fall upon us all, and between the, sand and stone, and could you make it on your own? And we can say, run away with my heart, and run away with my hope, and run away with my love, and chorus, if I could, then I would. So I will go wherever wherever you will go, wherever you go, and wherever you will go, way up, high or down, low, I will go when wherever you will go, and maybe I will find out the way to make it back someday, to watch you, to guide you through the darkest of your days, and uh, and who can bring me back to you, run away with my heart, run away with my hope, run away with my love. And I know now, just quite how my life and love might still go on in your heart, in your mind. I will stay with you for all of time. And if I could turn back time, I will go, and wherever you will go. If I could make you mine, if I will go, and wherever you will go, I will go wherever you will go. So we have discussed some models also here. So model auxiliaries, they are added to the main verbs to express shades of time and their mood. They do not change their form, and can or cannot. We have done these things. Might or may, pretend one of you is the manager, and might shows less, possibilities, and less, less possibility, you can say that. So we can say that. Now we are just taking poetry devices. So poetry devices, are some tools for creating rhyming and mentioning mood and meaning of a poem. So first of all, we must understand about the alliteration, why alliteration is important in poem and in poetry. So a lot of writer and lot of poet, they are mentioning in their poetry, alliteration and assonance and simile and figure of speech, hyperbole. And so lot of, we need to discuss about the alliteration. So we can simply say that why alterations, and so we are just taking from first of all simile. So simile is a comparison. So comparison made between two different things having one common quality using the word so, like, and as. So he is as child and as a monkey. So as like is called simile. So every simile is a comparison, but every comparison is not a simile. So he fought like a lion, and my love is like a red rose. She walks like a cat. In metaphor, metaphor is the implied comparison between two different things. It is a direct comparison without using the word so, like, as. So he was a lion in the battle. Money is the root of all evils. All the world is a stage, and life is but a walking shadow. It is a tale told by an idiot, and his words were medicine. And personification, personification in animate object or ideas are shown to have a human quality. For if dreams die, life is a broken, like that. This is called, we are using personification over here. So this is a, like that, when as a child, loved and wept, time trapped actions speaks other than words. The leaves on the ground dance in the wind, and mother is a, like that, servant but a bad master. Money is a good servant but a bad master. Alteration, the repetition of the same sound at the beginning of the words, and we can say the alteration. And in assonance, what we will use the repetition of similar vowel sounds, and man, sal, wedding, vowels. Assonance occurs in the middle of words. What we will the is not right. They fight for their right in the night. I feel the need to read, and the rain in Spain stays on the plains. This is a good book, and these are forms. If we talk about the two terms, so we can say that a style of literature written for the purpose or being performed before an audience. The story of a drama is told through actions and dialogues, elements, the sequence of events in a story, characters, protagonists, actions, diagnose, and atmosphere, act and division of a play, drama, structure of drama, introduction, rising action, climax, fallen action, and end is called the literary terms. Volta, a change of thought in like that we are just using. So types of drama: tragedy, unhappy ending, unhappy ending for the protagonist, comedy, happy ending for the protagonist, elements of tragedy, and tragic hero protagonist, tragic for flow, personal error, commercial fatality, point, false step, change of the protagonist, fortune, and from good to bad, death of the protagonist, catharsis, purpose of tragedy to clean, to purify the feelings of the audience, and the fact of tragedy on viewers, device of drama, and solidity. In solidity, a character expresses his thoughts before audience while talking to himself. Perpetua, turning point, monologue, the long speech by a character for other characters on the stage. In poetic justice, virtue is rewarded, and violence is punished. Struggle between the two opposing and forces, comic relief, the interruption of tragedy by a comic episode, dramatic irony. In dramatic irony, the audience have more knowledge of facts than a character or the characters. Climax, the point of highest interest, and katha, and the final action that uh, completes the plot in a tragedy. The end of a tragedy is called a so in Danua, end of a comedy is called a Danua. Danua means end of a comedy. So we can say that alteration of words in raw, and we can also say that a series of words in a raw or close together have the same first consonant sound, and consonant sound we require, and common examples of alteration are found in tongue twisters. So we can say that she shells down by the shore, Larry's reserve like Clipper microphone. So these are some, evoques in beauty like the might of cloudless climes and studies. And assonance refers to the repetition of a, vowel sound in a line of text or poetry. Try to light the fire, and the grumbling thunder of seas. So here the mellow, wedding bells will lie down by the side for my bride. And in onomatopoeia, defined as a word which imitates the natural sounds of a thing. So these are sounds, boom, bang, bang, like sounds are here. The books fell on the table with a loud, thump, and the rustling leaves kept me awake. The buzzing bee flew away. So that would be all. So we have learned in this, PPT, in this class we have learned different phrases and different literary terms we have discussed. So thank you so much. So the things we have discussed, like, so in next class, we will discuss remaining topics from language, and we will discuss about the we will discuss some literary terms in next class. So remaining topics we have discussed.